pretty about the slice off the side. We had a professional actually check this out. I think it was bamboozled, so he's going to have to deal with it. You can see it in your text, in your report. We've got to change. We know that we've got to change. In fact, a function of capitalism is that it's able to rapidly change as its market changes. It's really useful for us to know in the now, and there's a box in the now section of the one-page plan for this, key changes. It's not every change that's going on around the place, but as somebody who's smart and lazy and interested in the 80-20 rule, we're interested in those changes which could affect us. Because some change can actually kill a business. In our business, when the Newman government was elected, they drew a line through anything that had Labor Party attached to it, you know, which was okay with us because, you know, we had this cute business model with TAFEs where we delivered this sort of training in the and be paid by the TAFE so we could actually deliver it for free. We thought, well, they'll get rid of anything with Labor on it, but they'll replace it because they're a small business, you know, government. No, they're not. They haven't replaced it with anything. All of a sudden, we found in our business we were too exposed to government support. And it could have killed us almost overnight. If we hadn't had a bit of fat to burn from the previous 2 years, it would have killed us last year, you know. So it can change that quickly. That's why I put those lightning bolt risk things beside the government, in the government column, in our thing. So that it can happen to you too. Overnight, a global financial crisis, something that people don't know. You're in fashion business, this is constructed as a luxury by most people, it's not a necessity. It's one of the first victims of when times get tight, right? We've got to tighten the belt. We can't afford to get designer clothes, you know, we've got to go to the chains or what have you. So this tool is about just doing a bit of a scan of the context we're working in, what surrounds us and what might affect us, and a way of looking at that, of asking questions about change from different perspectives. And some of these will be relevant to you and some of them won't. So this is an example from one of our customers, not 100 miles away from your business. He was a jeweller, fine handmade jewellery. He asked himself, first of all, what political changes. You might recognise, if you've done business courses before, the pest analysis in this, political, economic, social and technological. That's quite a common tool that's used in business planning, so this is a bit more detailed than that. Are there political changes that occur? Now, the example I just gave you, there was radical right-wing government is elected and does not put in any kind of small business support. What are we going to do about that? This is the important part. This is action over here, and this will feed this list. So any action that you generate from this table, this tool goes into this table. So what are we going to do about that? Well, broaden our market, you know, beyond just government is what we were going to do about it. It wasn't relevant to Paul. This economic change, the financial crisis and the perception of jewellery, fine jewellery, handmade jewellery as a luxury, did affect him. What is he going to do? He's going to change his marketing message so he includes the word investment. So you're buying a high value-added product, but it's something that will retain its value. So it's not money down the drain. Okay? That's an action, right? He can go through his marketing collateral and start thinking about where he can sell that message to his key customer. If that is actually a perception amongst his customer base of success, you know, that it's money well spent, etc. Social cultural changes, anything happening in the actual cultural world, the way people live in the world around you. And in common with you, he's noticed the demand for value-adding, authentic, one-off, personalised, email rather than email sort of messages. What's he going to do without that? He's going to do research demographic for special occasion jewellery. So jewellery custom-made for weddings, for funerals, for life events of different kinds, christenings, etc. So that people can make that event in their life real, somehow, different from what everybody else is doing at that wedding, at that funeral, whatever it is. Technological changes, use the internet or die. Very practical here. Call Fred Cannell, the internet expert, on Monday, you know, to actually start to get on the page at least. He was entirely offline, right? And he did one of these courses and sense that, ooh, that's dangerous. Environmental didn't make any difference, legal wasn't relevant. If it's not relevant, just drop it, right? Don't flog it every just it's not useful. If it's not useful, don't do it. Changes in products themselves. Like if you're selling a product like this, you need to know that these things are getting cheaper all the time. You know, Moore's law, twice the computing power, half the price every 6 months. Harder and harder to make money out of selling the object. Harder and harder to make money out of selling the bandwidth that feeds the object. Bandwidth is going everywhere now. We know that in the world, you know. Bandwidth wants to be free. Places like this must have Wi-Fi soon, you know. They don't have it at the moment, which surprised me, you know. It surprised me that a modern facility like this does not have free Wi-Fi. The places we've just come from in Europe, it's everywhere. You know? Library. That's a good start. Out of Singapore, everywhere. Public spaces, parks, etc. You know, taxis, Wi-Fi. It's just the story, you know, it's just everywhere. So, if I'm not making money out of providing Wi-Fi and internet services, I'm not making money out of the objects. How can I make money? Because this is my product. My product is changing. There is an answer to that. Apps. Apps. I find ways for people to use the cheaper product and the cheaper and free bandwidth in a particular way that suits them. You know, apps for the socially conscious swimwear buyer or something. You know, everybody's got them. Every firm has them. You know, in the same way as everybody needs a URL, it's like everybody needs an app now. So that's an example. It might not be relevant to you though. It may not be that changes in the products. Like I'm not sure how much you can do to a bikini. You know, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's just sort of my limitations. But if increasing demand for man-kitties, that's sort of the Borat number, you know. So he noticed demand for high-value-added customised jewellery. Doing this homework for special events, people are looking for value-added, particularly because one of his customers that he'd identified earlier were male fly-in, fly-out mine workers. He was on the Sunshine Coast. They just upgraded the airport so that suddenly there was the capacity to carry a lot of FIFO workers. So he noticed among them demand for customised jewellery, prototype array, so low-risk prototypes only, didn't go into sort of big production of these things, of female rings and to scope a male ring product for sporting groups and things like that. Apparently there's a market in America for this sort of male vanity jewellery. And he hated networking events and stuff, so he was actually going to work out a script to actually talk to people about this and memorise it. You know? Changes in customers, this will often be the case. As I said, with him, it's the FIFO customers with the market due to the airport upgrade, and he was going to actually scope, which means just research, engagement and wedding rings, but very expensive ones. Because these are young dudes that are getting paid $100,000 a year, and after they've bought their ute, they're sort of looking around for something to buy. You know? So they're in the market for a $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 engagement ring. Yeah. Which is one of his sort of prizes, because the markup on that is fierce. You know, it makes really good money on a $10,000 ring. Changes in suppliers, and this will affect some of you, the people that actually supply your products, your materials. In his case, there's only 3 places in Queensland where you can get precious metals to make silver, gold, etc., to make jewellery. These people also supply all the dentists in the state. One of them was going out of business. What was his action? So there's only 3. One of them was going out of business. His action was he was a bit stumped on that one, but we decided to actually really concentrate his energy on one supplier, get a really good, trusting relationship with that one supplier, because it turns out that supplier is supplying everybody else, every other jeweller, all his competition, as well as him. So if he has a very close, trusting relationship with that person, the chances are he's going to get information about his marketplace ahead of his customers, and his competition. Yeah? So here's what's happening around him, seen through these filters, and if it's not relevant to you, just drop it, go on to another one. here's what he's going to do about it. Once he generates these actions, they go into the one-page plan and the actions on page 22. So the one-page plan bit is over here, big changes and trends. Yep. Go. Just spend 10-15 minutes and see how you go with it.